Okay, I'm going to take your calls for the next 30 minutes or so. Tom, Billy, Lily, Mark, Jerry. We're going to continue when Bob Chapman with some economic updates comes in on the flu. I started the show with saying that Paul Watts is doing a big alert. Major British news has internal CDC documents, but I've already heard about this through the medical facilities, people we know in Houston, where they did the first trials a few weeks ago. It killed at least 25 people, and that's with the medical system covering it up. That is big news. The head of Health and Human Services, she needs to be asked at every press conference she gives about this. We need to force this issue out there with everybody. We're going to take your calls right now. Rand Paul's popping in for like 5 minutes coming up, but then we'll go back to your calls because he's having an event in Austin and they wanted to come on. We're glad to have him. Tom in Boston, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, Alex, I was in Logan Airport the other day, and I was standing in line in the security checkpoint. There's a guy in front of me sneezing, and the airline people that work there, they get to cut in line in front of you. And it was funny. They were standing next to me, and they're making a comment saying, oh, we can't wait till there's proof that people have been vaccinated because we don't like standing in line, basically, with people sneezing. As I approached up to the woman, I went through the metal detector, and there was a woman standing there with 2 pieces of paper in her hand, and she said, put out your hands. And I said, why? She says, we're collecting random samples. And I said, of what? And she didn't have an answer. She said, just put out your hands.
See, this is huge news. I flew 2 days ago, 3 days ago, and then flew back yesterday, the day before. The point is, I flew this week. And at the Austin airport, they had signs about, we're doing stuff for the flu, you may be questioned. And I wondered what that was. And this is what Bill Clinton's executive order said. When you get a driver's license, they're going to take DNA and blood. That's now law, according to the U.S. Code and executive orders. It's totally unconstitutional, but it's in my first film, America Destroyed by Design, made 12 years ago. And it's on the books. But you're telling me they're basically taking DNA. Where did this happen again?
Logan Airport. And again, it was pretty funny because when I started questioning the woman, she couldn't look me in the eyes, Alex. She stared right down to the ground. Now, granted, she was kind of a monkey, so she probably didn't really know what she was doing anyway. But I refused to do it, and they let me go. However, I turned back as I was putting my clothes back on after being violated, and sure enough, at least 4 or 5 people put their hands out, and they took DNA from their hands. Sir,
this is off the chart. Can you set up a camera of yourself and send it to us? We'll put it on YouTube, or you should tell the story on YouTube. And in fact, guys, do a search on this. Samples being taken at airport TSA points. Now, I don't want to be too mean. I don't think we need these TSA checkpoints. It's unconstitutional. It's federal. It's to train you to be a slave. But in L.A. both times I've flown the last month. In Austin both times. The TSA guys are all fans coming up, getting autographs, shaking my hand, and saying they've gone to my events, watched my films. They're all nodding at me. They kind of halfway search people. So in L.A. both times and in Austin the last 2 times, that's 4 times I've flown, flying there, flying back, flying there, flying back, 2 trips. Both times they're fans. I had LAPD cops, after I went to the checkpoint, go, hi, Alex, and smile at me. The checkpoint guys are fans. The cops are fans. It's incredible. So they all know it's a load of... Look, I'm telling you, man, this country is on the edge of revolution. I'm just little old Alex Jones, and all these people are waking up. It's incredible. So, so I don't want to just sit here and say, a lot of these are just poor people that want a job. And it's a good thing you said no. A lot of people say no to the body scanners because they know what they are, and they let you go. And I've been in airports that have them. You're not putting me in one. I'll let them arrest me and take me to court because I am not going to have them with a naked image of my body. They already have cameras that do it from a distance anyways, but it's making you submit to them. Stay there. The good old folks at New Silver Solution. And the website is supernaturalsilver.com. Supernaturalsilver.com. This is something that kills bacteria, viruses, you name it, well documented. They've got it down to a super small nano-sized particle, supernaturalsilver.com. Check them out at Infowars.com, supernaturalsilver.com. All right, I know I haven't even gone to these calls yet. Tom, Bill, Lizzie, Mark, Jerry. We're getting to you in this segment and the next, even though Chapman's coming up. We just keep jam-packing the show with all these guests. Tom, finishing up, please write a blurb up with the description of what happened to you where. Send it to writers@Infowars.com. I'll get one of my writers to put it into an article because we were doing searches. Did you guys find anything about them taking DNA at the airports? I don't think so. So that's big news. I believe you. We need to follow up on that tip. Anything else, Tom?
Yeah, I couldn't find anything when I got home and Googled it, and that's why I'm calling you just to see if you had heard anything. Now, just my luck, the personnel, the airline personnel that cut in line actually were the stewardess and steward on my plane, so I was the topic of conversation. Several times they'd walk by, oh, there's the guy who refused the test. And so I pulled this stewardess over, and I said, well, but wait a minute. She couldn't even explain to me what the test was. Why would I submit to something that I don't even know what she's doing or what it's for? And they said, well, it's for the good of everybody. You should have just done it.
Well, I got to say this. Even worse than the TSA are the stewardesses, the flight attendants. Some of them are real nice. Some of them are fans. I've run into them on flights to England, flights to New York. But a lot of them are on Nazi power trips. And they love bullying people around. And, I mean, you know, it's just, again, the airport is being used to train us for everything. Write it up in a 2-paragraph, 3-paragraph blurb, or longer if you want. Send it to us. God bless you. We're going to try to track that down, Tom.
Thank you for your help, sir. Have a great day.
Thank you. Well, just amazing right there. Bill in Wisconsin, you're on the air. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, Alex, how are you doing today?
Good, my friend.
Okay, I'm a county supervisor here in Wisconsin. One of the committee assignments that I was given when I was elected a few years back was for the county health board. And as a believer in alternative medicine, I've been very, perplexed and alarmed by the things that I've seen over the years. I've come to the conclusion that Len Horowitz and all of his information that public health is a genocide program is correct. Now, yesterday we had a pandemic meeting, and I've been going to all of these meetings. This was held at, one of the local prisons for juvenile youth, and we were up getting an update on what their plans were. But at every one of these meetings, I bring out information that you've had, or Dr. Tenpenny, or the Crusader out of Florida. I bring it up at the meetings, and I get it right in their face. And,
well, I mean, did you hear Dr. Blaylock, brain surgeon, talking about how it's killing people and how there's no doubt that it's just absolutely horrible?
Well, I didn't hear that. I'm going to have a friend archive that for me. I understand. Well, yesterday I brought out about the Guillain-Barré syndrome and so forth, and I kept hitting that the World Health Organization is going to make this thing a mandatory. And no, everything's voluntary. But the local fire chief from the city closest by made the statement, that he would have great problems with any kind of mandatory vaccination, and that he and his group of firefighters would go into litigation. So I thought this was a very encouraging sign. I cannot emphasize enough that as I talk about building the immune system and doing things on a natural basis to prepare yourself for whatever might be coming, they don't want to hear that at all. All they're concerned with here are these shots or the Tamiflu, and you bring up all the negatives about it, and it's just off their heads. So
yeah, they just idiotically want to take a vaccine. Yeah. You ought to print off the Sunday Mail and all these other newspapers where it's killing people.
Right. Well, I did, give them that information, and in past meetings, I had all the Baxter information. So
and they still don't care. They still think it's wonderful.
Well, there are people there listening, and occasionally someone will pipe up and say, "Well, I agree with that gentleman."
All right, Bill. Always good to hear from you, County Commissioner.